How to be a genius hockey parent. Hey, I'm back. Thank you very much for bearing with me during the holiday break here. As you can imagine, it gets busy during the holidays. I left you guys in a lurch, left you guys wanting some more because I talked about how do you hypnotize your coach, how do you be a good hockey parent, and then I didn't come back for a couple weeks. So here I am. Just so you guys know, the live casts from now on are going to be they're going to be a little less formal. I'm going to be doing a live cast on YouTube. I'm going to be doing a live cast on Facebook, and I want you guys to check out my Facebook site, my Instagram, because I'm going to be posting more regularly on those. And then kind of the more Connor McDavid drive wide style videos are going to come out because those require more planning and preparation. Those are coming out. So a little less formal on the live cast, a little bit, and then better quality, and then little better quality on the what was I calling it? On the actual videos coming out. Yes, this is my house here. It's my apartment, little apartment in Vancouver, and yeah, coming at you live. How do you be a genius hockey parent? Now, here's the thing. Hockey players can understand the principles just as well as the hockey parents themselves. And here's what I see in the hockey parent area, because I deal a lot with parents. I'm talking to parents all the time. Now, there's a ton of great people and a ton of great parents who are not genius hockey parents. And actually, let me tell you, sorry, just checking the comments. Yeah, so how do you be a genius hockey parent? Now, like I said, you might be a very good parent, but you might not be acting like a genius hockey parent right now. And I see parents all the time getting emotional, panicking, writing nasty emails, confronting coaches, pouting, right? And these are very good people, right? These are professionals. They might be very successful in their career. Might be great parents, great family members, everything. I'm telling you this. I see this all the time. But as a hockey parent, they go about everything the wrong way. Okay? And then there's other hockey parents I see, and they're interesting to talk to because they're doing something different. Their process is different, their tactics are different, their strategy is different. And as a result, they get different results. And guess what? They have a lot more fun doing it. Okay? So how do you become a genius hockey parent? The first thing is that genius hockey parents focus on what they can control. They focus on what they can control, and then they execute on what they can control. Okay? And this might be uncomfortable because while one crowd is all going this way, right, all the other parents are doing one thing, right? It takes guts, it takes balls to go the other way, right? And so when I see parents, following the stream, instead of planning diligently, focusing on the things they can control, I see hockey parents getting frustrated. I see the players missing out. I see the players getting frustrated, and that's not what the genius hockey players or parents do. Now, the genius hockey parents, they are patient. Why? Because they understand the mechanics of skill development. They understand the mechanics of perceptions. They understand the mechanics of teams. So they know that a player might not develop immediately, right? They might see things from the perspective of a translatable skill set, right? So they might see their kid temporarily shorthanded right now, but they might see that their kid building resilience, right? So other parents see their kids' strengths and just want to exploit that to the detriment of their long-term development. Genius hockey parents don't do that. Genius hockey parents put their kids in a situation where they're going to build resilience, where they're going to build skills that are going to be successful down the line. Okay, And because they understand the mechanics of skill development, because they understand the mechanics of resilience, and they don't panic every time things don't go their way, and they're patient, they're very relaxed, right? So you can usually see the genius hockey parent because they're the parent in the crowd who's most relaxed, right? The guy who's leaning back like this, or the lady who just strolls in sipping her coffee a few minutes late or whatever, the one who is most relaxed is usually in the most control, right? And because they've got to the point where they can predict what's going to happen to their kid. They understand the mechanics of the situation. And those mechanics are not the coach isn't giving you love or not giving you love, right? The mechanics are, is your player doing the right things, right? Is your kid doing the right things? Are you doing the right things? So what is your body language when you enter into the arena? What kind of things do you do when things don't go your way, right? What development opportunities are you seeking out? Are they these development opportunities that are everyone else is doing them and it's politically motivated, or is it development activities that are going to make a big difference down the line? Are you doing things, are you following other parents down the rabbit hole, or are you taking an honest look at the situation and understanding the mechanics of skill development to get better? Okay, and the other one is, how do you deal with your coach, right? How do you deal with the coach? I go into arenas all the time and I see the anxious parents, right? And the anxious parents are not the parents of the top kids. It never happens that way. Maybe, you might bring up a point, oh, it's, dual causation, right? They're not anxious because their kids are the best, but sometimes it's the other way around, right? And I see a lot of times parents of kids who are not very good, and then those kids, because the parents are relaxed, because they're confident, because they're patient, because they understand the mechanics, and because they're not all up in the coach's grill, right? The coach can sense your anxiety. Because of all this, right, that player naturally is able to develop. The other thing is your kids can sense your anxiety, right? They can sense when you're unhappy with their performance or how they did that day. And they are not going to play as well as they can. So parents, it starts with you. And actually in the Train 2.0 membership area, coming live very soon is a course called How to Become a Genius Hockey Parent, where what I do essentially is I explain the mechanics of skill development so that you can be confident, so that you can predict what's going to happen to your kid if you put them in certain situations. I'm going to help you understand exactly what opportunities to look for and which ones to stay away from, right? It's my goal that you're paying a membership fee, but it's going to save you a ton of money, time, and energy. Not only you, but your kid too. So I'm going to teach you exactly what opportunities to look for that's going to save you thousands of dollars and also tons of time and effort and energy. Okay, so that's coming into the Train 2.0 membership area. And you can check that out, train2.0.com/membership. And How to Become a Genius Hockey Parent is going in there very soon, plus the Dominant Player Pyramid, which is the roadmap on how to make it to the NHL. And I say that kind of off the cuff, but even though it's simple, it is very hard to do because most people simply don't have the diligence or commitment. But if you do, there's the roadmap. And this is for people who are asking themselves, sorry, I'll just read the question here, but this is the roadmap for people who are continuously asking themselves, what is your potential? What is my kid's potential, right? Is it the NHL, right? It's not about expectations or unrealistic expectations or being delusional. It's about saying, what is my kid's potential? Can we design a plan, a realistic, relaxed plan to get them there? Okay, I got a question here. I'm going to take a look at that. How long do you think a parent should focus on skating before introducing skating with a stick and puck? Are there basic mechanics to look for before learning more skills? Yes. So I have this as part of the Dominant Player Pyramid. now here's the thing: is I don't really have an order. In terms of you must learn here in this order or that order. But what I do have is a sequence. So what that means is if you're having trouble with, say, being deceptive, we can go back like 3, 4, 5 steps to say, okay, why are they having trouble with deception, right? And then that says we need to. Sorry, I'm just kind of, as I'm thinking about your question here, I'm trying to think of how to answer it. But we can kind of go back and see what foundational skill is missing, deal with that foundational skill, and then build ourselves back up. Right. So that's always been my approach when coaching, and so that's what the foundation, what the dominant player pyramid is all about. So. How long do I think a parent should focus on skating before introducing skating with a stick and puck? I don't think it's a matter of length. I think it's a matter of mastery. The basic skating mechanics to look for before learning more skills is the concept of ice pressure and leaning, right? And now leaning is more of an athletic, quote unquote, attribute, right? So, for example, I guess I'll stand up here so you guys can see. Sorry if the audio is not great right now. But there's a difference between leaning like this, right, where my center of gravity does not shift, and then there's leaning like this, where if I take my hands away, whoop, I'm gonna fall. Now, so leaning and ice pressure are both concepts that I go over in the Train 2.0 membership. And like I've said, you can check that out for free for 7 days. That's train2.0.com/membership. All that's in there. So like I said, leaning, which is a foundational athletic mechanic, and ice pressure. Now, ice pressure is the idea that if you see a player running on the ice, right, their feet are not gripping it, right? They're not pushing into the ice, they're not putting pressure into the ice, right? What their feet are doing is they're sliding, right? So if a player is exhibiting ice pressure and is able to lean, I'd say that is like the foundational skill to look for. Now, I was a player that learned how to skate very well, like really, really well. I was doing laps around 7, 8-year-olds when I was 3 or 4, but then learned to skate with the puck. And then I see some people who are ugly skaters without the puck who are great puck handlers. So it's kind of a hit or miss. But I'd say if you focus on ice pressure and leaning, both concepts are in some of my YouTube videos and then fully detailed in what's it called? Fully detailed in the Trade 2.0 membership area. I got some more questions here. Hi, Mihail, Russia. Do I play hockey? I am retired now. I did play at the college level. I'm going to the Flames game today, and you can't play. I'm not. I would say I'm not signed by the Flames, so that would make sense. Or is that a question? I'm not sure. Anyway, any other questions for anyone that's watching? If there's any other questions, I'm happy to answer them right now. I got a few minutes. But yeah, you want to be a genius hockey parent. My first recommendation is that you is the McDavid video real? Yes, it is real. I don't know what you mean by that, but I mean it exists, and you let me know what you mean by that. Anyone else who's watching, fire me some questions. Any tips on teaching a toddler how to skate? I'm not actually very good at that. I have done it. I did it once. Thinking back, I'm seeing if I remember how I did that. Yeah, I think the main thing is teach them C cuts, teach them the concept of ice pressure through C cuts and S cuts, and don't let them step ever. Just continue C cutting, continue S cuts. The concept of the ice pressure is what's going to make them a very good skater. If they can learn that right away, they're going to be miles ahead. Um, the best players, the best skaters have understood the concept of ice pressure. So that would be my advice there. Any other questions there? Um, okay, hand over hand thing. I'm not sure, but so the two questions I have is like a hand over hand thing, and how does the skate make a difference? If you guys could both elaborate on that, I can answer those questions better. I don't fully understand. Oh, if I hold the toddler and skate over them, or with a pushy thing, you know what? I think either of those would work. It just really get them to focus on the cutting, right? On not taking their foot off the ice and just cutting back and forth. That's probably the motor pattern that you'd want to be most emphasizing. It's a very different. It's a very different. Actually, you know what? Yeah, do a bit of both. I don't think there's um, a true answer, but do a bit of both. But focus on the C cutting. Focus on the C cutting pattern. All right. Any time for one or two last questions? Oh, how do you determine the difference between skate manufacturers? I just use Bauer. That's about it. I've used Bauer since I was young. It just fits my foot well. I don't know if there's much of a difference. The main thing I would pay attention to is the main thing I pay attention to is the actual like lie, um, the quality of your sharpening. Maximum Edge seems to do the best job. They're like a franchise or training thing. If you can find one of their locations near you, they do the best job. You might think your skate sharpening doesn't make a difference, but it does. And I think all the NHL trainers are trained by Maximum Edge. So that is when you see Sidney Crosby getting his skate sharpened, 4 times a day, it's with a Maximum Edge sharpening. How do I feel about resistance training for forward, backward, and crossover skating? Resistance training is very good for certain things. The main reason, we do resistance training. By this, I'm assuming you're meaning, like resisted while skating, or resisted skating, because resistance training might also mean strength and conditioning, like lifting weights. So let me know if that's what you meant. As resisted training for forward, backwards, crossover skating. The concept is to teach the body to place more pressure in the ground force development. So yes, that would actually help a player learn how to put pressure into the ice, given that they're using the right mechanics. So Sergey, make sure if you'd like to send me more video, feel free of your son doing the resisted skating to just make sure that everything, rubber bands, resisted skating. Send me some video if you'd like. So the main thing is, is the technique correct? If it is, then it's going to be perfect. But you want to be reinforcing good mechanics. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I got to take off now. Pay attention on Facebook, YouTube, email, everything. Lots of stuff coming out. And visit thetrain2.0.com/membership to get your membership. And we'll see you on the inside.